Hello, it's July 17th, 2016. Today I'd like to take some time away from discussing current politics and refer everyone to the fact that this is the second anniversary of the day that Eric Garner was choked to death by New York City policemen. This is something that should concern everyone, not just African Americans, not just Black Lives Matter. This should concern everyone in the United States. This is a violation of civil rights. It could happen to anybody. The police kill white people, they kill Latinos, they kill all sorts of people. But the fact of the matter is that African Americans are killed, at least by some estimates, at a rate 5 times higher. And we're talking about unarmed African Americans at a rate 5 times higher than they're killed, than white unarmed people are killed. So, what's happened in those 2 years? Well, a grand jury in New York City determined that the officer choked and caused the injury, which the coroner, determined, or I should say the New York City Medical Examiner's Office determined was a homicide. That officer was not charged by the grand jury. Apparently there's been an investigation ongoing, supposedly by the U.S. Justice Department, but nothing has happened in 2 years. 2 years. The family's been pushing for some action, and nothing's done. Supposedly, according to unnamed sources in an article in the New York Post, there's a dispute between the prosecutors in Brooklyn, the federal prosecutors and the federal prosecutors in Washington, and I have no idea if that's accurate or not. But it seems this is a national tragedy, a national issue that we're still dealing with. And just to give you some context, Eric Garner died before Ferguson, before Michael Brown. And there were quite a number of young African American men and sometimes older African American men who were killed in that following year from the time that Eric Garner was choked to death and lay on the cement, said 11 times, "I can't breathe, I can't breathe." Just imagine that, somebody's laying on the cement, police officers all around you, and they're doing nothing. Nothing at all. So, just have to ignore that. I'd like to read for you a list of some of the other people who died in the year that followed Eric Garner's death. Some of these names you'll know, some of them you might not. There was John Crawford, died on August 5th, 2014. He was the gentleman who was in Walmart just holding an air rifle, and he was shot. Somebody called the cops on 911, and he was just shot in the back, dead. It was Michael Brown in Ferguson. Everyone knows him. He was 20. Well, I'm sorry, John Crawford was 22. Michael Brown was 18. So Michael Brown was killed on August 9th, 2014, also unarmed. Also, again, the police officer was not indicted for his murder. A man named, and excuse me if I mess up the pronunciations, Ezell Ford was killed on August 11, 2014. He was unarmed. He was 25 years old. Dante Parker, August 12, 2014. He was 36. These were all African American men. African American woman who was killed when her head was bashed into a car, I believe, by a police officer. Tunisia Anderson, 37, November 13th, 2014. Kai Gurley, the gentleman who was killed, by New York police officers. He was descending the stairs in his own apartment complex. He was 28 years old, shot dead November 20th, 2014. This is most gut-wrenching for me, actually. 12-year-old Tamir Rice, who was shot dead by police on November 22nd, 2014. And I remember that date specifically because it's the date of my father's birthday, that he was born. It's also the day President John F. Kennedy was assassinated. And again, there was no need to rush in and shoot down a 12-year-old boy, but they did anyway. December 2nd, Romaine Brisbane, also unarmed, also shot dead. December 30th, 2014, Jerame Reed, 36 years old, unarmed, shot dead. March 6, 2015, 19-year-old Tony Robinson, unarmed, black. Call him a black man, but at 19, that's a kid to me, shot dead. 32-year-old Philip White, on March 31st, 2015, was shot dead. 44-year-old Eric Harris, on April 2nd of 2015, killed by the police. And then, of course, a name I'm sure a lot of people remember, Walter Scott, a 50-year-old man in Charleston, South Carolina, who was shot, and we all saw the video, shot in the back by a police officer on April 4th, 2015. And then, Freddie Gray, who died as a result of injuries sustained while he was in police custody, for which no one yet has been convicted. None of the police officers involved. He was 25 on April 19th, 2015. There's various estimates that over 100 unarmed black people were killed by police last year in 2015. And then most recently, of course, the two gentlemen that led to the most recent protests. One of them being Alton Sterling, who was killed in Baton Rouge on July 5th, 2016. And of course, I don't mean to be dismissive of anybody who's been killed by the police. White, black, Hispanic, Asian, anybody. But there does seem to be a much higher percentage of African Americans who are killed by the police or while in police custody. And I think this is an issue that should trouble all Americans. Police are supposedly there to protect us, to serve and protect, right? And for many people, they do not serve and protect. And they're not likely to serve and protect you if you're white, if you happen to be in a protest that is not deemed acceptable, as the people from Occupy will be happy to tell you about, and which I fear that the protesters at both conventions, Republican National Convention and likely the Democratic National Convention, are going to be subject to potential, excessive force by the police. Hopefully nobody is hurt. And in all of these instances, these are unarmed people. So, for a moment, I'd like just all of us to have a moment of silence and remember Eric Garner and all the other people that have been killed, in the last few years. And forget about your political affiliations. Just take a moment of silence and try to give some thought to that. Thank you. All right. Stephen D. Talk to you later.